Alright, this is lesson 54 for 7th grade, and today we're talking about rate word problems. And we're going to relate this to yesterday's topic, which was ratio word problems. So we're going to have the same type of ratio table that we're going to use today, and we'll show you what that looks like on this first example. Oops, there we go. Alright, I already have the table up here. But it says, if Mr. Gomez drives his car at an average speed of 55 miles per hour, how far will he drive in 3 hours? Okay? Well, we figure out speed by taking distance over time. So, speed or any other type of rate, miles per gallon, things like that, they can be written as a ratio. And we can see that rate is part of the root word of ratio. So they do relate to each other. So we can use a ratio table to do this. So another way that I can write 55 miles per hour is a distance of 55 miles in 1 hour. Okay? Now we want to figure out how far he'll get in 3 hours. So if he's going 55 miles in 1 hour, how far is he going to get in 3 hours? So we're looking for that right there. And once again, just like yesterday, we have a nice proportion set up. 55 over 1 equals x over 3. We can take this out and look at it just with the numbers. And what we can do here is do our cross multiply divide, or say, okay, 1 times 3 gets me here, so 55 times 3 should get me to x. So we're solving for the distance it takes to travel in 3 hours at 55 miles per hour. So it helps us set things up very nicely. So we can do 3 times 55 and divide by 1, but we don't need to divide by 1 because that just gives us the same answer. So 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1, 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1, 16. So 165 miles in 3 hours. Okay? So a pretty handy tool to use, especially if we're really lost and not quite sure what to do. Alright? And if you're not sure what your category should be, look at what they give you for a speed. Miles, which is the distance, per hour, which is time. Alright, let's take a look at this one. This car averages 24 miles per gallon. How many gallons of gas will she use on a trip of 300 miles? Alright, well, let's set up our table here. We have our rate. We have actual, and then we'll have our side category, which is miles per gallon, or distance per capacity. Or you could just write miles and gallons. That would be okay too. So what is the rate here? Well, the car gets or averages 24 miles per 1 gallon. So how many will it use, or how many gallons will it use in 300 miles? So 300 miles, and we want to figure out how many gallons of gas that we use. So now we have 24 over 1 equals 300 over x. So we can do a cross multiply divide here. 1 times 300 is 300 divided by 24. So 24 goes into 300 how many times? Once. Subtract that, we get 6. 0. 24 goes into 60 twice. 2 times 24 is 48. Subtract, we'll get 12. Drop down. 120, looks like that's going to go in there 5 times. Remainder 0. So 12.5 gallons. That's what we should be using there. Let's just double check and make sure we've got the right one there. I think everything checked out nicely. I think we got everything set up the way we wanted it. Just gotta find my page here. So 54. And we are good. Alright. Never hurts to double check, even if you are a math teacher. Okay. I check my work all the time. Alright. We got 12.5 gallons there. Alright. Alright, let's take a look at this one. Hannah works 8 hours at a sporting goods store and earns a total of $68 for that 8 hours. So, what is her hourly rate of pay? Well, we want to figure out what her per hour is, basically. So, essentially, we're going to be doing 68 divided by 8. How does that work in our table? Well, that would be rate, actual, and we'll do money. So we're looking for a dollars per hour, basically. I'm going to squeeze this table in here. Okay. So we're looking for the rate per hour. So we know that we want for 1 hour, we don't know how much that is, but we do know that for 8 hours of work she earns $68. So 68 for 8 hours. So if we look at it this way, we've got x over 1 equals 68 over 8. So 68 times 1, cross multiply, 68 divided by 8 will give us x. So just as we suspected, we'll divide, 8 goes in there 8 times, we get 64, subtract, add your decimal, 8 goes in there 5 times. So $8.50 is what we're looking at for the first one. So $8.50 for per hour. Okay. And let's use this hourly rate of pay to find out how much she will earn if she works for 30 hours. So if she gets $8.50 per 1 hour, we can multiply that by 30 to figure out how much 30 hours will be. So $8.50 times 30, and I'm just going to type that in quick, and we get $255. So 8. $255. Alright. We will be covering more of this tomorrow. I believe that's it. Yep.